Hello, welcome to this video. Today we're looking at Canva and we're going to have a look at their photo editor. So I've got a whole playlist on different Canva features. So if you click on the banner in the top right hand corner, you can access my playlist and look at some of my other videos. But today we're going to focus on photo editor. So I've logged in. I'm using my free account at the moment. I'm going to click photo editor. And then we've got a variety of options. For those not familiar with Canva, you'll see that the ones with the crown require you to have a pro subscription. So if it's got a crown by it, then it requires a pro subscription. So what we're going to do is we're going to first off, we're going to upload an image. So I'm going to go to my desktop. And I've just downloaded a few images that I've got here. And we'll have a look at them and see which one allows us to do what we want. So let's go with this one to start with, and then we'll open up some others. So we'll upload that one. So when we load it up, as it says at the top in the banner there, whilst it's loading, the features are blacked out or grayed out, and then when the image loads up, then it brings them into the full effect. So we've got a few Magic Studio features. As I said at the start, those with the crown require a subscription. So you can see all of the Magic Studio ones require some sort of subscription. But we've got some other features as well. So if we scroll further up, we've got the crop feature. So we've got something called Smart Crop, where we can click Smart Crop and it will choose how to record it. Or we can click Reset to go back. We've got Freeform, where we can pick up any of the white corners or the side edges and tweak those as we see fit. And again, we can just click Reset if we want to go back. We've got Original Fit. Now with Original Fit, it's going to keep it in the same ratio, but allow you to alter the size. So it keeps it in the same ratio. And you can see we've got a whole variety of choices. So if you were wanting it to fit into a layout or into a particular social media platform, then you could choose and it will give you the ratios for those. So I'm going to go back to Reset. I'm going to maybe do a slight tidy up on the crop there. So I've got the gutter just up here, which I'm not so happy with. I've got part of a hat. So I'm going to try and get rid of those elements. And then I don't want to lose the bottom of my mug, so I'm going to just move that around. And we can move the whole picture. So instead of clicking on the frame, we're clicking on the picture to move that. So I'm happy I've got rid, if I squeeze it in a fraction more, I've got rid of the hat, which is fine. My focus is on the mug and the table. So the next thing I can look to do is I can then look at perspective. So we're looking at vertical perspective there. So I can have a play with that. And you can see, if we look at that, we can see what's happening with the perspective of the mug. We can vary it and you can see we can make the mug quite distorted. And in doing that, we're altering the perspective of the bench. That's part of the reason I've chosen this picture. So actually, I'm quite happy that that doesn't need any adjustment, so we're going to make that completely 0. But we could also play around with the horizontal as well if we wanted to, and we could bring that element forward. So you've got a bit of adjustment there which you can use. We're going to go to 0. We're going to leave that as it is. So I'm happy now. I could do a compare and then it will just flick between the two, but I'm happy as that. So we've cropped it. That's the first thing we're going to do. We can then go to adjust, and we've got a variety of features. So those familiar with Photoshop will be familiar with all of the features we've got here. So we can, just as we can in Photoshop, we can do auto adjust, and we can see it's made it a bit more vibrant. The blacks are now black, and we've got a bit more vibrancy in the color, but we are losing that highlight in the cup there, in the tea, in the mug. So we could use auto adjust as a starting point, and then we could fiddle with some of the other sliders, just as you do. And if you double click on the slider, just like in Photoshop, it will return back to 0. So potentially you can see because it's a bit green, we could potentially add a bit of magenta in there just to warm it up, neutralize it a little bit. And then we've got brightness and contrast, but you can see where the auto adjust has upped the contrast. So we may want to just reduce that slightly, because as I say, we're losing the highlights in the T. So we'll just tweak that back a fraction with contrast. And again, we'll do the same with the highlights, just knock them back a fraction. And you can see the other adjustments it's done. So you can fiddle around with it as you see fit. Potentially we can knock the vibrancy back as well. So a whole wide range of adjustments available there. So we've got the whole image selected at the moment, but if we click along the slider, we can see we can focus on the foreground or the background. We can also use the brush, and we can focus on just an area within the brush. Now let's just try. I'm using this for the first time, so I'm just going to have an experiment and see. Yeah, so we can adjust the brush size by simply using the slider. I was going to see if we could use the brackets as we can in Photoshop, but we can't. So we're just going to use the slider. That's the area that we want to select, and then we could adjust just that area. So you could see, now obviously I haven't selected the whole area, but you can see if I go really dark, you can see that it's focused just on that area. So there's an opportunity to do the whole thing. So anyway, we've jumped out, let's jump back in again. So we can just focus on those key elements. So let's just quickly reapply all of our changes. So we're going to have the crop as we wanted it. We're not going to use any vertical. We're going to click done, and then we're going to click adjust, and we're going to use the auto adjustment as our starting point. And then we're going to just quickly tweak some of the other options. And as I say, we can reduce or increase as we see fit as we go there. And again, we can knock back the vibrancy. We can also alter the sharpness. And you can really see that. If I go to 100%, you can really see that happening. So almost got, you can see the texture getting really strong there. So let's double click back on that, which will take us back to 0. And we could do various other bits as well. We can also play with vignette. Vignette is quite nice if you want to draw focus. So you can see if you look at the shelf where we've got the plants, we've got the hosta there. As we use the vignette, that area gets darker. The focus is more centrally on the mug and the yellow flowers under the tree. So that's quite a nice effect if you want to draw focus to a particular thing. And then when we're happy with that, we can click save. And that's now saved to my uploads. So you can see the difference between the two. On the left is the edited one, and on the right is the original one. If we open that up again, right at the top, which I didn't show you, you've got the opportunity to download. And you can download that and save it. So having made your edits, you can download it and save it. But let's just have a look at some of the other effects that we've got available. Just as you find in lots of social media feeds, you've got a number of filters. I'm not really a massive fan of the filters, but there are filters there if you wish to use them. If you scroll further down, we've got various things here. So we've got shadows, and we could add a shadow or an outline or a glow to the edge of the image. So if you're looking to put your image into a layout, that could work, but we're going to give that a miss. You've got duotone, so you've got to sort of almost create a sort of sepia style effect. We've got the blur, and again, you could add blur to a particular thing. So we could choose the area we want to blur. So this is great if you've got a picture of something and there's maybe a key piece of identifying information that you don't want to be identifiable. You can blur that, and you can see it's blurred there. We can alter the brush size and the intensity, and we can just remove that as well, so we can get rid of that. So that's a really nice feature that we can blur bits that we want. That's now all returned, or we could just click remove blur. We go back. Once you've used one, you can click on the lines. You can see we've got 3 lines and dots. If we click onto that, it goes back to the dashboard for that particular feature, and we can get rid of it. So we can click none. Other things we've got autofocus. We can blur and focus, so it's going to work out what's what and then suggest a background blur, which is quite useful. We'll go back. We're going to undo that. So again, all we do, click onto the lines, and it will give us the opportunity to remove autofocus. So again, quite nice if when you shot the image, it was all in focus and you want to focus just on one bit, the autofocus is useful. And then the last adjustment is the face retouch. Well, I've got a picture of a face there. So there you have it, a real variety of features. And just the final thing that I didn't mention is we've got the select area. So we can use click, so we can click and select an area of the image, and it's highlighting all of the potential opportunities. So auto select has already worked out certain objects, and as we roll the mouse over, it's worked out. It's struggling to identify this because it's not sharp, but we can pick any of the plants, and we can pick the table and the mug. So it's quite useful. That brush, as it suggests, you can alter the brush, and that's the area that you're focused on, and foreground and background. So there you have it, a quick run through of all of the editing images, editing options that are available within Canva, just for the free image. If you want to explore some of the other things, then you need to subscribe, and then you've got all of the other features such as background generator, background remover, perspective correction, magic eraser, grab text, magic grab. So those are the wider features. So very similar to Photoshop. So I hope you found the video useful. If you did, remember to subscribe to the channel and join me again soon for more EdTech videos. Thanks for watching.